Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about something we've addressed a few times on the channel already. The long-awaited return of the one and only Jason Voorhees to our beautiful screens. So after 16 long years of Jason creeping in the shadows and hiding in the bush, he's finally back. Unfortunately, it's not in the way we all expected him to be, but the Jason universe that we've discussed multiple times, run by Horror Inc., has dropped their very first short film called Sweet Revenge on YouTube yesterday. Now, just a little over 13 minutes. It's just a little taste and a way to dip our toe into what we can expect from Horror Inc. It's part franchise revival and part commercial, and it's also got a nice little love note to Crystal Lake's bloody legacy. So I'm just gonna break this down a little bit for you guys, and whether this return is really worth your time, or if it misses the jugular and it's something you guys should just kind of pass on. Now, to kind of reiterate some of the information we've addressed in the other videos, behind the camera is Mike P. Nelson, who is responsible for both writing and directing Sweet Revenge. He's mainly best known for doing Wrong Turn, the gory survival horror reboot known for its kinetic energy and visceral thrills. His experience with practical effects and pacing clearly shows throughout this short. And honestly, I'm all here for it, and I'm so happy that he's the one who did it, because even though it's on YouTube, we do get some nice gory scenes. And as for Jason, he's now portrayed by stuntman Schuyler White, and he has the honor of being the first official actor to step into the Voorhees boots, and mask for that matter, in 16 years. It's crazy how time flies, ain't it? His physicality does bring a leaner and more agile Predator back to life, and credit to the design team for crafting a mask that feels like it's somewhere between part 2 and part 3, feeling both fresh and nostalgic at the same time. So as stated, Horror Inc. is the company that controls the rights to Jason now, and announced the Jason universe earlier this year. A multimedia push they would be doing that will be including games, merch, events, and of course, films. Sweet Revenge is their opening shot and kind of way to grab the audience and bring them back to this world. Collaborated with Angry Orchard's Hard Cider. Yes, Jason Voorhees and Hard Cider seem to be going hand in hand, and it's very obvious that they are the sponsors of this short, but we'll address that and how they play so predominantly throughout the short later on. Sweet Revenge follows our main character Eve on a trip to Crystal Lake with her friends. What could go wrong, am I right? We meet the owner by the name of Harold, who has something off about him, but nothing really seems out of place at first. That is, until a few minutes in, when Eve decides that she's going to take a nice little boat ride on the lake. And this is where things in the short kind of really ramp up and start to kick off. We get a beautiful homage to the original Friday the 13th, with Jason exploding out of the lake and pulling Eve under the water from the boat. After which we get a beautiful zoom out and focus onto two dead bodies of what appears to be other campgoers that have already met their demise at the hands of Jason. We then fast forward some time, and it is now night, and Eve explodes back out of the water, gasping for air. Looking a little worse for wear though. More on that near the end. She stumbles out of the lake and starts to make grisly discoveries on her way back to the cabin. First and foremost, she finds Harold's dead corpse inside one of the sheds, with an apple in his mouth and a knife stabbed in his eye. The blood eerily similar to the red and glisten of the apple itself. This being one of those apparent hints towards the sponsor. After this discovery, we see her grab the notorious machete that Jason is known for carrying, and she makes her way back towards the cabin. On her way, she finds a clothesline covered in dismembered bodies, guts everywhere, hanging like drying clothes in the wind. Really a beautiful sight, honestly, and for gore lovers, it's really a crazy breath of fresh air to see that this is something that they were able to do on YouTube. This also shows Jason clearly hasn't lost his chance, and at this point, the pedal hits the metal, and we get a full gas to the end. So after walking past the dismembered bodies and approaching the cabin, she sees her friend and boyfriend on the couch, giving each other some loving. As she stands there bleakly staring through the window in shock, Jason's persona approaches her and picks her up by her throat. This being our first clear sight of Jason staring her straight into the eyes, really bringing back that ominous feel that we're all used to and that we all missed. And then we get to see Jason begin his relentless assault on this group of friends. Throws Eve through the window, ruining the moment that her boyfriend and her friend were having with one another, and putting everybody on edge and in fear. The boyfriend then runs to the door, Jason kicking it down on top of him, holding a motor to a boat that he runs the engine on and starts grinding home his head into the floor. Again, we don't get full close-ups on it, but we do get flash and glimpses, and honestly, like I said, this is some great stuff to see, and this is exactly what I signed up and I'm here for. Once the boyfriend's head has been mangled and mushed up, Jason turns his sights on the rest of the group. The other guy friend starts running towards the door, and Jason takes the propeller off of the motor, chucks it across the house, stabbing homie in the back, and him going down. He's either dead or paralyzed. I'm gonna jot it up to dead, but either way, my boy's got an arm. Jason then puts his sight on Eve's friend Donna, the homewrecker, throwing her towards the kitchen and pinning Eve to the floor with a machete. Directly through her stomach, I might add. This girl is like the Terminator. He then goes and grabs Donna and grabs an apple core and starts pushing it into her face. Another reference towards apples for our great sponsors. Now, of course, Eve's not done yet, managing to pull the machete out of her and stabbing Jason, having him release Donna and then both trying to go for an escape. Donna manages to get outside and get to the car, but then realizes that she doesn't have the keys. Luckily, Terminator Eve is there to meet her and has the keys, but still seems very odd, almost like a shell of herself. So then Eve proceeds to get inside of the car, and Donna and Eve take off. Donna rambling about how she's so sorry about what Eve had witnessed and how it was all a mistake and all of these things. This bringing us to one of the biggest twists of the entire short, where Eve takes a knife and violently stabs it through the face of Donna, causing a car crash. This completely flips the final girl trope of the survivors on its head and turning Eve into a monstrous killer like Jason. After the car crash, Eve proceeds to get out of the car, only to be met by Jason standing in the middle of the road. They then proceed to have a tense stare-off, like as if they're in an old western, ready to have a shoot-off. And this is where our story comes to an end and leaves us on a cliffhanger, with Eve and Jason both starting to take steps forward as if they're about to go into some battle. Now, this leaves the audience with more questions than answers. And in my assumption, I'm assuming that after she was dragged into the water, the lake had some magical power that brought her back to life, and she's no longer a living being and is more an embodiment of something else, the same as Jason. Now, in my opinion, Sweet Revenge nails the Crystal Lake vibe and does a great job at balancing nostalgia with its modern production polish. The short does a great job at delivering some amazing kills that's anchored, shown off, and promoted by great practical effects. And as stated, Jason is a bit leaner in this one, but he is terrifically brought to life by the actor. That said, the production placement, though, is impossible to miss throughout. Even when it's part of a kill, it is really in your face. Apples everywhere, multiple references and scenes and cuts where someone's holding a seltzer, and it really makes it hard to miss. Now, unfortunately, some of the violence is kept off screen, which might frustrate some hardcore gore lovers. And at 13 minutes, the short doesn't have much time to really build the suspense before the action starts ramping up. But like I said, I'm here to watch people get killed, and all the rest of the fluff we could skip over anyway. Just chop some people up, make some people scream, and stand in the back going ch-ch-ch-ah. Ominously. The reintroduction of Jason is a very strong start in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what else they do. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Did you guys end up checking this out? Are you going to check it out after watching this video? Are you happy with what Sweet Revenge did and the way they brought Jason back? Do you think that the sponsorship was too in your face and kind of distracted you from the main point of what we were actually there to see? Are you excited for what they're going to be doing next and looking forward to anything else they're going to drop? Or do you think that Jason should have just stayed dead, floating in the lake? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video out there, ring the bell for notification, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.